Hello and welcome to another Unleveled video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 35 Super Nintendo games of all time. Jackie Crush. I bet you haven't played this one, and I'll tell you what, you're missing some fun. The soundtracker is the banger, and although this is a pinball game, it has about 10 hours of pure content throughout. With an eerie but refreshing Japanese-only aesthetic, it deserves a spot on our list for sure. Joe and Mack. By today's standards, the platform in this game is rough around the edges, and that's an understatement. But the design, progression system and diversity makes it a worth try. Plus, this game is really accessible in terms of overall difficulty. Super Mario RPG, Legend of the 7 Star. I feel like this game is highly underrated. I still remember having to deal with its bullshit, but still having the time of my life because the aesthetic is so pretty and the attempt of exploration of 3D environment was fun. I can't say it was a revolution though, but it certainly was a good game. Evo Search for Eden. After all these years, I come to realize how ambitious this game was, and how nicely it managed to come close to that ambition. It's like a platforming predecessor to Spore that thrives in its possibilities of customization and evolution. And although the plot isn't really that special, it works. I mean, it just works. You get to see variety and experience the depressiveness of time and evolution. It's very much fun. FZero. Alongside Top Gear and other racing games, FZero sure is fun. But does it stand out? Well, firstly, it feels very fast, very clean, and feels good to play. And its aesthetic is really just different. Cool looking even, with differences between the gameplay of every car in the game. And even with all that, it has no multiplayer. This is just sad, fellas. For a game with such potential that showed the power of new technology and allowed all the racing games to thrive in the future. Oh boy. Tales of Phantasia. This might be one of the prettiest SNES games to exist. The combat and idle animations, the changes in the environments depending on when you enter them, and those things supporting the storytelling of the game make it a very memorable RPG. This little fellow set the bar really high for titles to come. Alcahest, an underrated precursor to top-down action RPG games. It shows a lot of different and interesting mechanics and environments that, although not very pretty graphics-wise, were filled with different environmental changes, which was rather a new thing to non-platforming games and top-down RPGs alike. Super Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. I can tell to this day if these guys were very ambitious with this price, or if this was just an aesthetic choice. But it was very pretty. Although rushed platforming-wise, it featured interesting sound and character design. The levels were challenging, almost to the point of bullshitting you. It was doable though, and fun. And it's Star Wars. Super Mario Kart. Okay guys, this is where it all began. You rage after lose out of just freaking bad luck, but you always go back to another match because you gotta take revenge to your friends. So much fresh ideas and map designs with memorable soundtracks. You remember a few till this day. That really nails the target audience and makes this game stand out till present days. Tetris. It's just Tetris. Mega Man X. I gotta be honest, I spent years trying to finish this game because I'm garbage, but that's not the game's fault. I mean, I think it's not the game's fault. Mega Man holds a place in most people's heart because its progressiveness is astonishingly good, with a lot of care put into the platforming and enemy design, really making it stick out with us since childhood. Remembering some sections just makes me cringe at how mad I got playing this game. Good old times. Super Mario Bros. 3. Definitely one of the best Mario games for the SNES. Some of the best mechanics in the franchise appear in this game, and the style of progression is very different, and the casino that is to expect a good game from Nintendo. As daring as they are, this game is definitely a win. Mortal Kombat Ultimate 3. I'm very trash at this, I admit. But regardless of my lack of skill, I can still see the impact this game had on the history of fighting games. It is freaking brutal, and very satisfying at being brutal. This game guaranteed the success of the franchise for over 20 years. Castlevania: Rondo of Blood. Yep, I replayed this game as a kid just because of the soundtrack, and I was only able to finish it because I played an emulator. One can say that the art style is different, but it's also very memorable. And although the hitboxes are quite experimental, I will say, They definitely work, and you can whip your way through levels. It's definitely addictive and worth a retry. Secret of Mana. Please don't be hating on me for putting this on this list so far. There's just so much good stuff to put here. But anyways, the exploration and action RPG mechanics of this were groundbreaking at the time, and I've put quite a ton of hours in it myself. The plot's cool enough and the game's fun. Definitely sparks something in the gaming industry. Super Bomberman. Okay, this game is a great example of a DVD cover and name that actually portrays the game. It's an awesome experience even by today's standards. Outplaying and exploring your friends in a multitude of maps with a rather unique set of designs and gameplay mechanics that inspire generations of game developers to come. Super GHOULS and Ghosts. Freaking tough, but a charming experience that can make hours of time seem like minutes because the linear progression of the levels is really well made, as this is one of the games that I experienced with platforming and action back then. A ton of unadulterated, unforgiving action at that. Killer Instincts. Amongst the Mortal Kombat clones that exist, this is my favorite. It handled combats a bit differently. It was arguably even more brutal with an even wider cast. You can play as a velociraptor. You can be a freaking dinosaur. There's nothing else I want more. Really. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I never really thought why I liked Sonic, but right now, just to ponder about it, it's probably how the game almost feels like it plays itself. The focus is in speed and momentum, and there's also those moments that makes you stop and breathe. And the more you play, the more it grows on you, the faster you get. Good shit. Aladdin, one of the best platformers of the SNES. It feels nice, smooth, and almost like you're in a trance. You boot it up and you're immediately having fun from the beginning to end. Earthbound. Okay, this game is just fucking weird, man. And weird equals good. Screw everybody that disagrees. Final Fantasy IV. This is a revolution in terms of JRPG storytelling, electronic RPG mechanics and graphics. It inspired most of the RPGs to come and set the bar a step higher to what electronic RPGs were meant to achieve. In a practical sense, the game is great. It was the first to apply specific classics to different characters, and that, combined with a visceral amount of content, cannot go wrong. Demon's Crest. The feeling of freedom I had with this game was something else. It might have been the first true Metroidvania, and it was a hell of fun. Well animated, you can fly, try different combinations of pathways and equipment, and face one of the most bullshit final bosses known to man. This is all one can ask for. Doom. Okay, tell me how could I not place Doom on this list? I gotta be honest. I learned how to feel anger while playing this game. It's chaotic, infuriatingly hard, and extremely satisfying to master and explore. One can't deny the legacy of Doom. One can't forget its existence. If you haven't played it, you're living wrong. Street Fighter 2. Fighting games are like different kinds of coffee. Everybody has a different taste, and Street Fighter 2 began a branch of its own with this and several other instances of it being played casually and competitively to this day. Somebody can easily tell why. This is simple, effective, with memorable characters and OSTs. Starting the top 10, Super Castlevania 4. Now we're talking. This is my favorite Castlevania game on the SNES. Firstly because of the aesthetic, and secondly, and more obviously, because of the level design focused around combat and brute forcing your way through hordes of demons, undeads, and whatever the hell the game throws methodically at you, with a level of polishment superior when compared to previous instances of the franchise. This is hard, yes, but it's freaking great. Number 9, Super Metroid. Headache. This game reminds me of the constant chronic headache of backtracking and a bit lost, but I never really stopped doing that for some reason. Sure, the game has some of the most bullshit secret passages that aren't really secret because you have to find them in order to progress, but this thing's still beautiful. Number 8. Sunset Riders. Bury me with my money. It's something I carry with me even after all these years. This is probably the game I've taken the longest to complete, due to me being complete ass at it, and the game punishing me for it. But I always came back. It was always worth it. It was even better when I was playing with a friend. 2D side-scrolling shooters are underrated. Number 7. Super Mario World 2. Yoshi's Island. A cute game about preventing a child from being kidnapped and molested by a Node Witch and her, master baby turtle? Okay, that doesn't sound very appealing, right? Well, it freaking is. I've finished this several times, and every level of it is unique and filled with color. The mechanics of using Yoshi didn't grow old at all, and it's a very friendly game overall, so you won't find many difficulties, Spike. If that for some reason could bother you, as an ES player. Number 6. Top Gear, the dawn of competitive racing games. And with that, I mean you could have a shit ton of fun flexing with your friends, and even if you don't have friends, the game's campaign is still amazing. It's challenging and diverse in terms of aesthetics and racetracks. Nowadays, it feels a bit rough to play, I'll give it that, but I would also give it a try any day. Number 5. Star Fox. Do a barrel roll, then freaking die. That was my experience because I was really shit at it. But after replaying this, I realized how much of a gem it is. In the entirety of 3 polygons that compose everything in the game, it's very ambitious, but doesn't fall behind in terms of mechanics. In fact, there ain't quite a lot of games like this till this day. And the replayability value of this is real. For this and all the games from here on, if you haven't played it, shame on you. Number 4. Donkey Kong 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I put all of them on a single place on our list. Stop me if you can. But I valued them all greatly, and equally. They really helped define my taste in video games forever. You showed me that platformers could be more than rough, infuriated jumps and having to retry things until perfection. Donkey Kong games thrived in the beautiful, weirdly charming designs and freedom it gave to the player throughout the levels. There's just so many interesting, memorable moments and soundtracks that it all couldn't fit in a 2-hour-long video. Number 3. Chrono Trigger. Okay, easily the best turn-based combat and storytelling on the console. And if that wasn't enough, the amount of secrets and content is enough to keep you playing for weeks and still have replayability. It's common to play again just to test new combinations and see what the characters' reactions are gonna be. And alongside that, uncover more about the beautiful, drawn, intertwined world and its characters, and find things that you didn't expect to find every single time. When somebody asks me about a vintage turn-based RPG, the first thing that comes to mind is Chrono Trigger, even if it's technically an RTS, but anyways. Number 2. Zelda, A Link to the Past. This one's mine and many others' favorite action RPG on Super Nintendo. The plot was arguably very bland, yes, but the exploration, oh man. The freedom the game provided and the feeling of accomplishment that came with every quarter is unmatched in any other Super Nintendo game, in my humble opinion. Number 1. Everybody praise Super Mario World. This is easily the game I played the most and always came back to. One of the greatest OSTs in a Mario game till this day, and an absolutely massive amount of content, and great content at that. One can pinpoint every single level of the game, and others will be able to recognize it. Some can say that it lacked costume variety for Mario. I don't really agree with that. The game made the absolute most it could with the mechanics of that time, and it definitely deserves to be the face of the Super Nintendo. What about you? What's your favorite Super Nintendo game? That's it for this video. Destroy the like button with the power of like pressing, and don't forget to subscribe for more unleveled videos every week.